with the 5 required principles, and I want everybody to write these down, and I'm going to give you like a 5-minute class on these. These are the 5 principles and steps that I include in every single step of a customer journey, every phone call, every Instagram DM, every single video message, everything. They can be done individually, they can be done together, and I will explain this, okay? The 5 steps are this in order: acknowledge, prepare, project, pre-handle, and excite. And those are the 5. And so to give you an example, and I'm going to use the collagen example, is that because I'm selling a collagen and I know I want that relationship to last for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, if I have the ability to send an email a day versus 1 email, I'm going to send an email a day because it's more touch points, it's more endowment, it's more consistency, right? So on day number 1, I acknowledge Amy. Hey, Amy, I'm acknowledging that the decision that you just made was the right decision. Hey, Amy, how's it feel to have healthier hair, skin, and nails already, even though the product hasn't shipped? That is also me saying, hey, Amy, thank you for buying, except I'm saying in a way that supports Amy. If somebody DMs me on Instagram, like one of you today says, hey, George, I want your customer journey training, you will see this. And the first thing I will do is like, hey, Elias, thank you for shooting me a DM on Instagram and asking me for my customer journey training. That acknowledge step, what it does psychologically is it closes the open loop that was existing in the pain point or in the evolution that they were in, right? That's called the Zeigarnik effect. And the Zeigarnik effect is when somebody has an open loop, it creates unresolved subconscious conflict that prevents them from feeling safe and moving forward. And so for people out here that give out lead magnets and then don't deliver on the lead magnet and try to get people to buy something, the reason they can't buy is because they physically can't buy, because they have an open loop on that lead magnet. So the acknowledge step closes the loop and whatever's happening before. You meet somebody at a conference after they get off stage. The first thing I did it to Dom. Sorry, Dom, I'll pick on you for a minute. Dom came up to me and was like, hey man, I have a question. I was like, hey man, first, I just want to take a minute to acknowledge you for like coming up and even asking me and being so open and vulnerable. It's at every single step in every single place because it's the secret to allowing a human being to feel seen and then safe. So that's what the acknowledge step does, okay? The prepare step is just preparing them for the next workout set or the next evolution or the next thing. And so if you're DMing me on Instagram for my customer journey training, I'm just preparing you for the customer journey training. If you bought my collagen and I acknowledge you for buying my collagen, the next thing I'm preparing you for is for the collagen's arrival to get the most out of it. So the prepare step is like, hey, I'm about to send you this training, Dom. It's only 12 minutes and it's a video and I don't even need your email. But when you watch the training, I want you to do this and this to get the most out of it. And I'm just preparing for whatever it is I'm going to give them, okay? The project step is what paints the picture of what's possible when they complete whatever it is that you're preparing them for. So Dom, I'm going to keep picking on you. You send me a customer journey thing. Like, hey, George, send me your customer journey training. Like, hey, Dom, first, thanks for DMing me on Instagram and asking, because I didn't think most people who listen to my podcast knew how the DMs worked, but thanks for being one of them. And I'm stoked to send you the customer journey training, man. It's incredible. It's only a 15-minute video. I have it in a Word document. And I want you to understand this, though. Most people will convince you there's another answer, but I'm telling you that at the end of this 15-minute video, you will understand customer journey and be able to apply it into your business instantly, as long as you write down what I say. And so that's me projecting and painting the picture of like, hey, remember, this is what you committed to? Oh, by the way, you're prepared to get it. Oh, by the way, when you do what I said, this is what's going to be possible for you. The pre-framing also helps them tune into what they've never seen before and see things as wins that were losses, right? So I'm just projecting out. So then the pre-handle is like, and by the way, Dom, I've sent this to a lot of people and a lot of them don't watch. And it's up to you if you watch it or not, but I will tell you this, that the answers are in the video and the only way to find them is to hit play. And so please don't message me back asking me a question if you haven't watched the video, because the first thing I'm going to ask you is, did you watch the video? And I promise I'm sweeter now than when you answer no to that question. So Dom, now that you have everything you need to go. Here's a link to the video and let me know when you're done if you need any help with X, Y, and Z. And so if Dom was sending me that interaction on Instagram, I would reply to that in one video. It would be 30 seconds to 45 seconds because it matches just the frame of that journey. But if somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, I want to buy my first ever home, I'm not going to go through all 5 of them for the entire home buying process. I'm going to go through all 5 of them to just the first step, which would be them coming into my office and sitting down to meet my team and feel safe with the family that's going to help their family have their forever home. And so I would acknowledge them in that moment of like, dude, it is so good to meet you. And I love it. I'm so glad that you came up to me after this keynote. And I'm even more excited about you buying your first home because I remember what mine felt like. And truth be told, we're not like many people. It's so easy to get your phone number, to get your email, and to do all that, but we're a family. And the most important thing for me is that you know ours. And so I'd love to schedule a time to get you into the office to meet our team and to meet our family. And then even if you decide not to buy a home with us, we'll be able to give you everything you need that will help you make this easier for you with whoever you decide to work with. Boom. I would just say it in a conversation. I would get them into the home, right? So just in context, by the way, Elias will tell you these 5 steps I normally teach over 8 hours. So I'm giving you a compressed version to have an awareness. When it comes into the physical product, I know that I want that relationship to last forever. And that journey is like a 3-year journey. And so I'm going to use each step independently to frame that journey and create a relationship and create endowment, right? And so this happens across the board. But when I asked you to stay with me at 30,000 feet, the reason is that you do this naturally by accident. And when you can do it intentionally, it changes the game. And so Elias does this by getting on Zoom calls. He acknowledges everybody for being here. He prepares the field for 5 minutes. He lets you know what to expect. He tells you what's going to happen at the call and what you'll be able to achieve. He pre-handles objections by being like, we want your camera on. We want you to pay attention. Please mute yourself. And he's like, hey guys, now that we're prepped and ready to go, George is up to speak. So Elias did it at the beginning of this call. And then I guarantee you he'll do it at the end of the call. And when he does it at the end of the call, it will give you next steps and things to do. And so you can see it in application here. And so before you ever get obsessed about, well, is it 1 per day or is it here? The question is, am I just even hitting these principles with my people? Because all of us, if we were ever committing to something, if we were ever buying something, if we were ever opting in for something, we would want somebody to acknowledge us, to let us know what was coming, to remind us what's possible, to help us navigate any speed bumps that might get in the way, and then to be like, hey, by the way, this is the most prepared you've ever been for this evolution, so let's just go finish it so we can move on to the next, right? And so those 5 steps are the most important steps, right? So I can tell you this in utter confidence. If you do not create those 3 mistakes or make those 3 mistakes and just have an awareness of them, and the worst point that you get to is like, hey, Elias, holy shit, I'm making this mistake and I don't know how. And he talked about these steps and here's my idea. He's most likely going to laugh at you and be like, yeah, that's the exact idea. Go do that thing. Because what you have to remember is that relationships are all about context to 80% of the game and 20% content. So for example, some of us here are married and we could all agree that communication and integrity and empathy and compassion and intimacy are all very, very important in marriage, right? They're foundational principles. But if Elias tells me how to go be empathetic towards my wife, she's going to feel unsafe and unseen in the same way that his wife would feel safe and seen, or vice versa, because the context and the principles are the science. The application is the art, right? Customer journeys, this is the science. These are the things that are actually needed at a human level, deeper than any transaction, straight to the core. And this is neurolinguistic programming, hypnosis, conscious psychology, trauma-informed psychology, mixed into customer journey because that's my work. But it gets people at the deepest level, but it's the science. The art is how you do it. I am really good on video. I love being on video. I am a people person. I am like a parrot. You give me a cue, I will talk all day, right? So for me, that works well. But I have a lot of analytical people that are clients that are numbers and data geeks and backends. And what's really, really funny is they love recording videos as long as there's a screen of numbers in front of them and their audience loves it. Some of them like sending audio. Some of them like taking a picture with the person's name on a sticky note and just sending a selfie. But even then, that's them applying these same principles in a way that feels the best for them in the relationship that they're building.